Hello everyone and welcome on back for some WSSEA action here. The Smash is on the scene. It is Thursday after all. D'Lo here behind the mic, joined by Sami Nami right by my side. We of course have our almighty eyes in the sky, Connie Console, as well as Mo Bugman, otherwise known as Taylor, and you watching at home. Sami, how are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, D'Lo. How about yourself?
I can't complain, man. We got some good Smash action here, and I'm always down to see some clobbering and what teams are going to be doing the pummeling, the beating, the smashing here today.
Well, the smashing's going to be coming on out from Nooksack and Ferndale. So between these two, I'm actually very excited to be able to see this exhibition match because there's not going to be any stakes here, so we could see a lot of wackiness.
We could see a lot of wackiness, but also, of course, in that sense, given that it's more of a scrim nature, like you said, that exhibition match, there's no points, no seedings on the line. There's still stakes in terms of you could try to maybe experiment a bit more. Maybe this is the moment where you try out that tertiary character that you're trying to see if you can bring it into the mainstream for your regular roster. Maybe this is the time where some of those people that are normally playing on the back of the bench, maybe they get their time to shine as well. So, yes, I do anticipate this is going to be maybe a bit less fast and furious, and maybe a bit more slow and tranquil. That's the new movie series. Wait for
Tranquil,
pop up into that one. Bingo. That's one I got for you. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes on down. But what I also always look forward to talking about our good friends over at Zotac, baby.
Of
Hey
course.
everyone, we want to give a huge shout out to Zotac Gaming for powering today's stream. Thanks to their incredible support, we are able to bring this broadcast to all of you and helping to showcase all of this esports talent that we've got to offer. You can show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming by giving them a shout out on social media. Make sure to join their community on the Discord, and make sure you don't forget to use hashtag ZotacUSA or hashtag powered by Zotac when you post.
Love to hear that there. Now, I think we're just going to begin to get ourselves potentially going. I think it's pretty standard which team is who here, as we can see from the label of the players.
Makes things simple for us at the very least, nonetheless.
Indeed.
Let's wait for our players to get into battle here. Keep in mind, guys, even though it's an exhibition match, even though the stakes are different, that being none, there is still going to be the same format, that being 5 1v1s that are all comprised of a best-of-3 set, or rather best-of-3 set. So, again, in theory, the point system go that the lower matches on the bottom rungs are worth less. That being said, though, given that there's no real stakes, you can count along in your head, and we'll certainly be counting up on the board. Incineroar versus Rob. All red, everything.
I love this. If you know me, favorite colors with red here. I'm raring to go with this lineup here.
I actually didn't know that's. I mean, I'm not sure
Really?
how I would have. No, you're not frequently mentioning just your adoration for the color red. I gotta say, in all the casts we've had together, I cannot say I've heard that once. But noted, duly noted, and gotta make sure that you're noting right there the timing of that Alolan Whip. The fact that we're already seeing Nooksack's player off the mark there with those grabs is gonna be unfortunate if they can't land them in the future.
Indeed. It's funny name how they kind of adapt those wrestling moves for Incineroar to be part of the regional base, even though it's really just a big clothesline.
Nooksack's player is by the name of Hendy here, by the way, so that Incineroar, make sure you give him the respect they deserve. Hello Man is playing the robot. Really doesn't make much sense, but it does sound like a robot trying to greet another human. Hello Man. Hello fellow human. We'll see if they're able to try to get back to stage. 121 so far. Really favoring this Robo Blender. I can see that causing problems in the future because it's a very laggy move and also a very punishable one. But this time, the Incineroar falls for the bait.
Indeed. You know, something that I am seeing different with this Rob in particular is that not a big user on the top spin there, the projectile that Rob has.
And that's a really pivotal part of his kit. If you're going to neglect to use the Gyroid, then there's not really too much, honestly, of a point of playing this character in a certain sense. Like, sure, he's definitely got some really solid aerial game between neutral air and up air, but it's certainly not better than a lot of other characters that just are better brawlers and also have less large hitboxes. Rob can very easily be combo food for this kitty cat. A can of Friskies being opened up as this cat's starting to get frisky. Only 90%. This Incineroar has still got plenty of stock left to play with.
Yeah, no, I mean, despite the damage they are receiving, they are recovering themselves very well. I'd be potentially looking to see them get a bit more aggressive in their play style because the Rob here is playing very forward.
You just got to be careful about when you're letting go of the pressure. Yeah, you got the laser off, but now we need a pressure on this ledge. Unfortunately, rising up in the air to eat a cross chop is not the best response. An up smash will catch them, but 104 extra credit already built up, and a laser off the Angel platform. Hendy's not going to have to worry about that one. They're off to the races.
Yeah, they are. Really going to be looking to see probably for a grab here, just off the edge.
An up air, a back air, several back airs, all miss the mark, though I like the idea at the very least, and should be an easy punish here. Up throw probably won't kill, there's no rage built up by the Incin, but I'd like to see this Incineroar use a lot more revenge, honestly, just because it's an effective counter. Could boost up that next grab to easily get the kill, and also because I haven't seen a single grab come out from this Rob just yet.
Yeah,
Ow.
no. There it is. Big sucker punch there.
I mean, what are you going to be able to do when this Incineroar is just able to so easily combo you up? Honestly, I'm looking at Hendy with a bit of side eye. You're the worst player on the team, supposedly. I like the attempt, the cross-chop combo. That's just a bit of BM, but they feel confident enough that they can make sacrifices like that, and given the way they're playing, I'm not convinced otherwise. Look at this, 86% without an answer.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you really just cannot get on these platforms.
Oh my God.
Feeding the Incineroar's kicks.
Oh, the darkest lariat's going to finish it off. I think there could have been some DI to save Hello Man from their fate, but maybe they just kind of need a bit of a mental reset. They say, listen, that first game didn't go too well. Let's try to regain, get back to meditation standpoint, and get back into it for round 2. I'm curious if the Rob sticks around, because like you mentioned, the lack of gyroid play really has got me scratching my head. If you're going to play up against especially a character like Incineroar, who really relies on closing that gap, what better thing to use than a ever-present projectile to keep the cat at bay?
Yeah, most definitely. And all things considered, when you're playing against an Incineroar, you do have to keep in mind that his whole kit involves playing close quarters, getting in your face. So on paper, Rob does have that better potential. Yet, as you mentioned, no gyro, no use.
We're going to have to see if there's any adjustments, whether it be in character or in playstyle. I'd like to see some more grabs from the Rob. I'd like to see some definitely more gyroid from the Rob as well, but we'll find out if either one's committed. Nooksax, back in the races, back in the ring. Stretch it up against the ropes, just waiting for a high fly dive combo, the Swanton bomb, if you will. I'm sure Jeff Hardy would approve of Incineroar and what they're doing so far. It's been pretty solid to look at. Now it's got to wait to see if Ferndale can answer back with some aggression of their own.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, if we take a look at where we were playing the start, right? That was small battlefield. Now we're going to be heading to normal battlefield here, which, if I am recalling correctly, doesn't have the platform. So there could be a better opportunity to not get juggled here.
We'll find out. The issue is they just couldn't land no matter what, honestly. Those up airs are very quick. Incineroar's actually got surprisingly good juggle potential with it, especially given how low lag it has. Instead, it's a new super heavyweight in the same battle bot as before, but I don't know if you got any better luck up against the Turtle. Clearly, Hendy's a big fan of these big, beefy boys.
Listen, I'm seeing two of my favorite heavies in the game right now. I couldn't be any happier with this.
We'll see how it ends up going. Already, they know ball. Every single time we see the Whirling Fortress, I say they know ball, but Rob says, I can spin to win too. It's just a bit less effective, sadly.
Oh!
Solid grab and a throw here for the Bowser. We'll see what they do off stage.
Oh, there's your gyro. You are seeing a bit of change.
Oof. Sadly not enough there to keep them alive so far. 79% built up, but I like the fact that we're seeing those adjustments like you mentioned. That's exactly what we need, but the question is, what do you do afterwards? Pressure them into shield, but shield pressure doesn't do anything if you don't get the grabs off. The up smash was lucky, if you ask me, and it's not going to work again. F-tilt nearly sends him off, but so far, Hello Man stays alive.
Yep. Oh, just barely. Almost had the hit there for the juggle. Yet, they're just gauging each other right now. They're trying to play it. Yet, I think he mistaken on his ability to recover towards the edge.
Ran out of fuel. Rob, without getting to land, does not have enough fuel. And gas is expensive these days, Tommy. Have you seen the prices? Yeah. $4.20? I'm not paying for that, says the Rob. I'd rather just take the stock. $4.20. I'm done.
Yeah, it's 4 down here. It's all been going up.
Well, so far, percentage going up here for this Rob.
Ooh.
79 now, and in a quick up smash, the dash up. Bowser can close gaps surprisingly quick. A very fast dash speed from the super heavyweight. the heaviest character, in fact, in the game. And look at these forward air strings. Platforms abound means that Bowser can just keep the combos going, and this Rob just does not have the easiest time landing. Here comes a seismic slam as well. And now Bowser's nearly lapped in percent.
I
Goodbye.
love seeing that there. Oh, they live, but not for long here. Just one more hit. That's going to do him in.
A Robo Blender knocks Hendy off stage, but they wipe it off, say all that for a drop of blood. It still hasn't taken the first stock. And the Bowser bomb off ledge, trying to get a catch off there, but the F-tilt can certainly do the job. Great recognition here of Hendy to know that I don't need to use a big fat F-smash to kill you. And F-tilt does the job just as efficiently. It's going to be an easy 2-0 there in favor of Nooksack.
I got to say, I love the little clapping that Rob gives towards there. It's so respectful. It's like golf clap. Golf clap.
Got to make sure to keep it classy here, Ferndale.
Of course.
Got to try to keep it also maintained, composed, since that was a bit of a rough start there. But again, it's only the bottom rung, right? It continues to ascend up as we get higher in skill level. Though I will say, if that's the lowest skill level that Nooksack has to offer, I am concerned. That Bowser new ball, that Incineroar was pretty solid too. And it didn't really seem like our friend Hello Man could quite keep up. Now, maybe there's quite a large gap. You don't know how big of a gap there could be. Maybe that's a new player of the team or any other amount of circumstances, or maybe, like we said before, keep in mind there's low stakes, so maybe you send in some players that have a bit less battle knowledge. You don't need the veterans to step up because there's nothing really on the line.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, if anything, we talked about in these weeks that a lot of these matches have been learning experiences for the teams that have unfortunately lost by a huge margin. In this case, that's biggest part here is possibly setting yourself up against harder opponents to see where you're making mistakes, to see where you're finding yourself very open to attacks. It goes the same for many different titles, in fact, but Smash especially because there's such minute movesets and the techniques that the players employ really shine.
I'd say that we saw adjustments there from Hello Man, and that's genuinely very impressive. Mid-series adaptations are what separate the good players from the great players, and the fact that we saw gyroids coming through, shield pressure being elicited, that's really solid. Unfortunately, it still didn't actually result in too much since they actually had a bigger stock deficit, not even getting off one, but I like the thought nonetheless. Now, we're seeing once again another big chunky boy in the form of King K. Rule. The reptiles rule the day.
You know, I am just super happy. I'm getting to see all the heavies now. Tell me, pinch me. I'm dreaming right now.
Everyone is here. This guy, Nooksack's player's name is Chowder. Rada Rada. We'll see how that goes well for them. Up against this Cloud here, otherwise known as Advil for Rage. Might need something for that headache, buddy. You're already taking quite a lot of percent, especially after the vulnerability, but actually doesn't get punished too hard for the haphazard edge climb, but gets a nice little cross slash off, back throw. It stays pressure over to Nooksack, and a big back air finds the spike.
That was dirty there. I do have to say, not seeing a whole lot of technique coming out from K-Rool here. He's actually playing it a lot of CQC than I typically would see a K-Rool do.
I mean, they're just going to interweave these blunderbuss shots between the aerials, but I like the fact that they're using these aerials to continuously pressure. That might have been a little bit ambitious. A blade beam reflected by the belly bounce. That was a brilliant job there. Coming up, rising above ledge with the counter ready, knowing exactly what Advil wanted to go for, and now it's 3 stocks to 1.
Indeed it is here. Oh, just trying to play for that distance there. Thought he had the counter there.
I mean, even playing at distance from a K-Rool is not necessarily going to work. K-Rool's got plenty of projectiles of their own. And I don't know, man. These climb hazards haven't been the greatest so far. I've oftentimes not found the second hit, but dash attack. With no rage behind it, though. Cloud's really going to need to try to buff up the percentage. Maybe just knock out one of these stocks to lead a bit more. Limit half charge. But here's the issue, Sami. When the K-Rool's on ledge, Cloud's on the other side of the stage, not pressuring them at all.
Yeah, no. That's a big issue. Now, they did get a full block on that limit break there, so could have an opportunity, but it's not looking likely, especially how much damage they've maintained.
An up air, but it's a nice air dodge away from the stage to ensure safety. Does K-Rool make it back from there? Yes, they do. I don't know how that small little jetpack carries up that large croc, but Gets the job done.
What?
So does that up air. Finishes the job. 205% maximum rage. Nooksack, even though take the first game, and the big bad boys are just continuously dominating across the sets.
That was phenomenal there. I don't know how he got the up hit there, but I feel like he just pushed through the animation from Cloud.
They just are able to outrange a little bit. I think when you have the crown on top of your head as well, it does add a little bit of distance to that hitbox, make it a bit more disjointed, but I'm not positive.
Really?
So don't quote me on that at home, folks. But nonetheless, the K rule, what you can't quote me on is the fact that they were doing really solid with their air-to-air. This Cloud is not taking advantage of the best thing Cloud's got going for them, which is quick, disjointed aerials. K rule's got good aerials. Some of them are quick, some of them not, but they're not disjointed. Cloud's got a big, bad Buster Blade. Use it! Slay the dragon. Slay the beast.
I was going to say, if we're talking King K. Rool for a dragon, you might be giving a little too much credit there. Just an overgrown lizard.
Riches? See the way he hoards riches? Look at his crown. That thing's 24 karat gold for sure. You know he's got a big pile of jewels that he lays on at night. That's why his belly armor is so solid. It's like Smaug. Anyway, no one's got the Black Dwarven arrow, though. Maybe Cloud will find it this time around. Already beating in percent. Dash up climb hazard. Tries to get ambitious there with the spike, and that's going to cost them big. Hubris, Sami. Hubris is the death of us all. It's also the death of that first stock.
Indeed it is. Oh, I like what I'm seeing here from Chowder. I think he's trying to go for this grab here to possibly stage spike him on the edge.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you're already at 124. Why not go for the blunderbuss? Slips out of the F smash. That is tragic, which certainly would have been that first stock. The backer finds the weak hit, but it's still plenty of damage. Force out the climb hazard, and the spike nearly gets the second stock off there with the followed up smash. Not going to find the mark, though. Chowder is still bullying this Cloud.
This is insane. Love the double back there. Almost finds the follow through with the blunderbuss.
Dear God. Down tilt right into the big bad boxing mitt. And goes for the blunderbuss this go around. The jump got eaten, and that's all she wrote. 3 stock there from Nooksack to finish it off.
Yeah, he gets it off in the end there, like we were seeing him try. I'm just surprised he got it off so early on respawn.
This Cloud was either very pushed up with the ledge pressure, attempts at ledge trapping, or was seeding up way too much ground. So a bit of overcompensation there maybe. If you know your opponent, you've seen them once before, try to go for that stage spike. Go for the blunderbuss suck. You've got to recognize there's always a possibility they'll do it again. Any single time that a player uses an option against you, that needs to be data you log in for the future. So you need to have like a little bit of a flashback moment, like, huh, I've been here before. Unfortunately, where you are now is down in the blast zone. It was still a good attempt there and some solid adjustments being made, played a bit more aggressively, which I do appreciate. Sadly, it was to their own doom.
Indeed it was. We are going to be heading on to our third matchup here with Nooksack having F-tier Hero versus Ferndale's Alam. These are some very creative names we have.
I'm curious to see if it continues the trend. That's what the characters picks have been very creative too. We don't oftentimes see a full lineup of super heavyweights. If that's what we're going to end up being in Tailford, then I am super excited because we don't get to see a ton of Incineroar. We don't get to see a lot of King K. Rool. Would love some DK, some Piranha Plant, deceptively heavy character as well, but one of the best if you ask this guy right here. So there's definitely some interesting possibilities to keep up the trend. I do, however, fear this might be the end of the road for that pattern as Nooksack now bring out the Little Mac.
I think we're playing into the name here. F-tier Hero on Little Mac. From bottom to the top.
Well, we'll see if he can climb up the ladder. We are, of course, higher up in these tiers, which does mean these players, in theory, have a bit of a higher power ranking. But who needs skill when you have Prominence Revolt, Prominence Revolt, Prominence Revolt here from the Pythra? Starting off with the Pyro is an interesting decision, but these bigger hits and these longer duration hitboxes that cover more ground going to be really solid at maybe trying to keep Little Mac off stage, though Little Mac doesn't seem concerned about that. A Jolt Haymaker to ledge guard themselves and actually getting some pretty solid damage from it.
Yeah. I mean, something I've seen consistently is how they've juggled their opponents on the side of Nooksack each time. Oh,
no. If I had a nickel for every time I've seen a Prominence Revolt, I'd have like at least $1. But if I saw every time a KO punch hit, I have a nickel. So either way, we're getting money. And right now, Nooksack stocks are going up. You cannot counter that with an easy punch. And look at that. The super armor comes through. Easy down tilt Jolt Haymaker. And without any recovery, that's an easy stock. Nooksack continuing to pack this one up.
See, the name fits this character entirely. You underestimate an F-tier hero, it will be to your own downfall, good sir.
Up tilt, up tilt, up tilt, and easy rising uppercut. This little Mac absolutely is a ball knower. Maybe a boxing knower instead, but I don't know what this Pyro Mythra can do other than change up their strategy. Way too much reliance on these special moves. Goes for another Jolt Haymaker. You're not going to be able to recover from that. Everyone on Nooksack has got the gumptions, got the moxie to go for the clip, even when it means their own death.
Yeah, I got to respect that. I love it, because that's going to make some great material there.
And this is looking for their highlight reel. Prominence Revolt once again. Goes for the down air spike. You're no air fighter, Mac. Keep your feet planted on the ground. The F-tilt knocks them off stage. They found the spike! All right, never mind. Never mind. You are an air fighter, little Mac. Screw what Coach said. You're going out on your own.
I love this. The confidence to bring forth Little Mac like this and to perform at such a level is actually very, very phenomenal. You don't really see Little Macs play like that. They're more reserved. They like to stay more towards the center of the stage. Edge guard even a bit, but not to such a degree that we just witnessed.
I think it's when you underestimate your opponent, like you said. I mean, Epithra obviously much higher on the tier list, but also still pretty vulnerable to the same things Little Mac can be, which is gimping. Little Mac recognizes that. Pyro doesn't really have the wherewithal nor the bandwidth to focus on warding off a ledge guard, or an edge guard rather, and is too focused on recovering to see that the weak down air was actually coming right for him. The weakest spike in the game, but it's the job done when needed. Nooksack knows how to use those tools efficiently.
Need they are. Now, something I do want to say, the only change-up in heroes that or competitors we've seen until now has been only from Nooksack, but now Ferndale going to be here on the Ridley.
Yes! Excellent. Sadly, not a super heavyweight. Makes no sense. Literally, like, look how big this guy is, but...
Yeah.
Little Mac's got interesting problems against the Ridley. One is that this guy's got a third jump, which means he certainly can go off stage, but the question becomes, how do you get the Little Mac off stage? And F smash is not going to be the answer. It should be quick hits. I want to see this Ridley in the sky and using a lot of that neutral air to try to get Little Mac off their feet.
Yeah, you can definitely see it, but maybe you're trying to juke out those hits in the air, because we've seen Nooksack actually done very well in the juggling aspect.
And spiking. I'm seeing. There's no way you're spiking a Ridley, bro. Okay.
He did it.
Whatever.
He got away with it.
Whatever, F-tier hero. You get an A+ and a gold star from me. Just keep up the good work. Easy up tilt into down tilt into nice little F smash. One more spike, why don't you? Just bops him on the nose, but Ridley does not have enough percentage built up quite just yet to find a mark. That Jolt Haymaker, though, puts them in range. Ridley's got to try to recover high, and they will successfully.
Oh, this could be something here. This is
oh, dear God. No! Just out of... This is hard to watch. I'm not going to lie to you. KO punch charged up 25%. That's a low health Ridley, if you ask me. A KO punch right to the backside. Nearly sends them to the stratosphere, but they stay alive for now.
Yeah, if anything, that would have been pretty much the topping on the cake there. If it... What was that? Hold on.
Wall jump, baby. Little Mac can levitate off sky. This dude's making miracles happen. Amazing down tilt to fair to Jolt Haymaker string. That's going to pack it on up.
That is phenomenal. I am learning more and more watching these players here.
That was well done. That's good Little Mac play. Clearly a student of Peanut, one of the best Little Macs to ever do it. And also a student tutored. Wow, can't talk. I'm so tongue-tied from how well that game was. No, tutored in the skills of aggression, which is something that Peanut specializes in. Little Mac, you got to play that guy aggressive, because if you're going to wait for your opponent to come to you, you got no projectiles. You have nothing to do but attack. Nothing to do but get up in their face. You are Little Mac. You've got to get inside their space. If Ridley's got longer tools than you, longer limbs, a big spiky tail, get inside, bob and weave, find the counter jab, slip one in there, knock him out. They succeeded. Very well done.
Yeah.
And it's just going to continue Nooksack's dominant streak. 3 matches without dropping a single game.
Yeah, no, I mean, you mentioned all about that footwork. I think that is a core component here. And often, a lot of people underestimate how much movement is involved in a lot of the characters. Because from dodge to block to just sidestepping or parrying, it's all these little things that happen in pretty much milliseconds of reaction time. And most people do it without thinking because it's instinctual.
It's all these little Mac things as well that you got to watch out for. You got to watch out for those down tilts that lead to the next attack. I think a lot of people underestimate his ability to string things together. Sure, the fair is not a threat. It's not going to kill you, but it will lead to the Jolt Haymaker, and that certainly will. So, underestimation. Hubris, again, we've seen it on both sides now. Hubris. Got to make sure that you're not underestimating your opponent ever. Especially Nooksack. I'm really curious to see. This is an exhibition match, of course. Again, no stakes, but I'm very curious to see how their season has been. And if we're going to see more in the future, I look forward to seeing them in an actual competitive match where there's something on the line. Right now, I'm seeing a little Mac once again. Put it up and ready for the battle. Up against the Game & Watch, though this time it's Ferndale who's got the boxer.
I gotta say, this is the first time, I believe, on this channel I've seen a Game & Watch.
Well, it is a very actually solid character competitively. Very floaty and low-key everything that Little Mac hates. This guy's going to stay in the air, and if you pressure his shield, we should see an up B every time. That right there, the parachute, is the bane of Mac's existence because it keeps him in the sky for so long.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Oh, the
no!
projectiles, too.
Dude, Little
kiss.
Mac got force-fed bacon, dude. That's awful. He said it's my cheat day. Apparently not, dude.
Woo.
Wow, the Judgment finds the 8. If that was a 9, that would be an instant mental boom there from Ferndale. The bomb delays the counter, and the down smash catches, too. Does not have the key to victory there with that spike, but I like the attempt.
So isn't the 9 just the instant kill like Hero has?
Correct. The 9 recliner. You get hit by that, you sit back and you say, well, crap, that hurt. That being said, you might not even need it. Look how much damage and stock potential is being output here by this Game & Watch. 40% easy. Maybe even more. 50. This Game & Watch, I'm going to say it again. They know ball. Nooksack knows ball.
Yeah, I think they've just been trained on the art of aggression here, and it really works out in their favor. Now, Mac trying to get in some hits, but this is where they're really struggling. Oh, 1. That would have been a funny down.
Oh, great parachute to find the Gimp off. Little Mac wishes that he jumped out of the plane with one of those, but Game & Watch has the only one. An easy sack there from Dino, the player of Nooksack Valley.
Indeed. This one's a little hard, especially if we're going to see the Game & Watch in Little Mac set in again. I'd be highly advising Little Mac to swap if the players have the pool to do so, because this is not going to be any worth going in just to try to force this play here.
No, I agree. Like, there's a certain point where, yes, it makes sense to stick with comfort, but there's also a point where we recognize the matchup is untenable if you don't understand how to play it. And a Little Mac, under these circumstances, really needs to play carefully around shield because they can so easily be carried off by the nonsense of Game & Watch. And if you get hit by that parachute, you are in the sky forever. You get launched up so high, it's very frustrating, and that only leads to further damage from this Game & Watch. So playing carefully around your counters and making sure you keep those feet on the ground is one of the most important things. And that being said, like you said, it's about if you have the pool for it. I understand if you want to stick to the tried and true just because maybe you don't feel comfortable on the other characters. Sometimes comfort is just what's best.
Yeah, but, I mean, we're going to go in circles about this because in our eyes, both as we put an analytical approach to this as coaches, we see that we like comfort picks, but you need to be able to adapt. And if you cannot...
Of course.
Ooh.
Well, Juan, he adapted. He took off the hoodie. Now he can see better.
Yes, now he can see better. He has a bigger field of vision.
That's actually going to be huge against this Game & Watch, man. You got to see those fish bowls come.
Oh,
see
there it
that
goes!
Big fat 9 hammer. Thank God. You know, it's starting to get warm outside. You got to make sure to account for that with a tire. And already starting to account with that with a shield, though unfortunately it's not going to change. Landing with that counter is going to be super dangerous, especially if Dino starts to become aware. Here come the combos.
Yeah, I love when whenever he gets grabbed for that send off there, it turns into a little tiny Little Mac head.
Little stock icons. Game & Watch gets creative with it. The
Yeah.
power to juggle you into a different dimension. That being said, this Little Mac's doing a pretty solid job. This is our friend Grizz on the side of Ferndale. Unfortunately, that bomb's going to knock him into next week and also knock him out of that KO punch, so no longer has that tool available. It's a steel chair to the back of the head.
That's unfortunate there. You know, this isn't wrestling, all right? This is traditional boxing.
Game Watch does not play by those rules. He brings out 2 sledgehammers. The ref's not watching. Someone, please. This is not regulation. But look at that. Great roll reads being caught here. And all of a sudden, all that composure we were seeing from Grizz moments ago is slowly starting to fall apart. They have no jump left. That means there's no recovery. An easy second stock taken by Nooksack.
Yeah. I mean, a big part of Little Mac, right? Going in for punches, getting these, like, drill push-ins. I think you may just need to try to get a grab here because you can't deal with the nonsense.
Or at least run up shield and then see what you can go for. I don't disagree that the grab could be a potential option, but also we're just always playing for the ground. Well, why not maybe catch this Game Watch at the 45 degree? Because they're consistently jumping with their approaches. These counters, though, they're sadly just not it, because this Game Watch at this point has understood that you are conditioned to do that to try to land, because this is what happens if you don't. Here comes the KO punch, but here comes the key. One last hit is all that this Game Watch needs to make a game, and you'll be watching from the sidelines as they take the rest of the set. But no, instead, it's a weak judgment on the shield and a big fist to the face. First stock taken here by Ferndale.
Yep. I mean,
goodbye.
We were kind of seeing that coming as soon as that sledgehammer hits. The only chance I was hoping for there might have been for a cheeky KO punch to be able to get one additional stock or try to set up for an up air smash. But it's a bit of a hard press. Yeah, I see you shaking your head.
I'm not even shaking your head at what you're saying. It's more so just the doldrums you already were set in were very difficult to overcome. The fact of the matter is, if you are a character like Little Mac, or really anyone at all playing Smash, a very key reaction that a lot of players build is this bad habit is you get hit, and out of hit stun you jump. And that's very dangerous because you're robbing yourself, especially if you're off stage, of an incredibly important resource. If you are recovering super high, I can very easily stand beneath your landing point, punish. If you're trying to go for ledge, I'll easily intercept you. Now you have no jump, punished. For a Little Mac who really has no means of recovering except for that jump as their entire lifeline, severing it so early is a death sentence. And Dino was smart enough to recognize that. They played patiently. They played it correctly. That's why they got the win.
Indeed, they did. Now, this is going to be our 5th and final match that we are going to be heading into now. Real curious if we're going to still see these kind of big, heavy selections, or rather meta picks. I mean, I said it before. First time seeing a Game & Watch on the channel here. As many teams are more Pyramithra, go to Kirby, Mario, Luigi, like the typical things you'd see a lot of people go to out of comfort or liking the characters in general.
I mean, that's the thing about Scholastic Esports is that tier lists matter a lot less, and the rule of fun is certainly applied a bit more, and that makes perfect sense. And I want people to play like that. That's why I mean Kirby. Like, that character is buns, but gosh darn it, do I like the little sucker. That being said, Game & Watch also is a character that requires a bit more intensive combo fidelity, and you were seeing it be brought to fruition there. That was really solid work there from Dino to make sure that those 0 to 50% combos racked up real quick. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see anything of any caliber. Any character, much like any Pokemon, can be your favorite. Any character can be someone's favorite. But me personally, Piranha Plant. Piranha Plant, Piranha Plant, Piranha Plant. That's what I want to see.
Really? Piranha Plant,
I love that guy. Dude, he's hilarious. He's a super heavyweight as well, and also just like, who wanted Piranha Plant in the game? No one. But that's why he's the best character in the game.
It throws, well, when he was first introduced, yeah, everyone was just geeking out about him. It still throws me that he's a heavyweight class. How did that ever get decided that he's a heavyweight?
They filled that pot with like the most, like they filled it with like tungsten cubes. I think that's what they did. They filled it. There's no soil in there. It's just tungsten cubes keeping the roots in place. So, you know, make sure you don't try to lift it up, or at least if you are going to, lift the legs, not the back. It's a lesson for you kids at home. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with joint pain like me. Like Uncle D-Lo. So we'll see what we got going here. And you know who can help you out with that joint pain? Dr. Mario. Thank God.
Yes, but Nooksec on Sephiroth. This was the big OG meta selection when he was released.
The two surgeons. Dr. Mario's the chiropractor, and Sephiroth says, hand me a scalpel, and instead they give him a Masamune sword. He says, all right, you're gonna feel a slight tingling sensation before he lops off your head. Shadow Flare being applied here, and timing. Do you know it? Wow, actually immunes the Shadow Flare by going for the throw. I don't know if that was intentional, but if it was, this is a really solid player we got this Doc Mario from Ferndale. Sadly, not solid enough recovery to recover. That means Nooksack takes first stock.
Yeah. Oh, look at that juggle going so far. Big couple of hits, yet Gaina taken right back against them. I think it's really going to matter here off of the Solar Flare or just general projectile use.
I'd like to see this Doc Mario following up those pills a bit more. Like, use them at distance is great. A great reflector of the Mega Flare, actually. That's going to be something that Sephiroth's going to have to watch out for. Octo Slash, punish with the grab. Up air is the easy follow-up, but do you pressure is the question. Sleepy Nico. Trying to use these Octo Slashes to get back safely, and these F Smash is just way too predictable, going to cost them big. And that also, you can see, Nico is trying to be 3 steps ahead of this Mario, and I can see it working.
Yeah, no, the Mario's actually doing a fantastic job dodging each time here. We got to see if we get that dodge there again with the flare.
Nothing. Gonzo. Octo Slash. Slice him up 8 ways to Sunday. Gets him to Bouquet. Doc Mario spin. Finds decent damage, but no kill. And that one wing. I forget if they already got expended, but nonetheless, that buff, you don't want to have it on this Sephiroth any longer. The issue, of course, is that Dr. Mario, how do you close this distance? Sephiroth by no means is a slow character, and they have so much range with that sword. Got to play around the shield a bit more carefully. These Octo Slashes have been finding the mark far too often.
Yeah, they have. Ooh, very close there. That tornado could have been it.
Well, that one certainly will. Seems like the Wicked Witch is dead for a little bit, but right back afterwards. These up airs, man, cover just all of these battlefield platforms, but playing maybe a bit too cautiously is going to cost the Sephiroth one grab, but not enough follow-up here. Every grab needs to be maximized, and the issue when you are this Dr. Mario is every engagement you feel like you need to do a lot more because you're so infrequently having advantage state. Great job baiting out this cape so they can break the shield with that down smash. Now Mario's in trouble. Yep. Goodbye.
Golly. He is a menace for a reason.
Nurse, time of death. I think I might have cut a bit too deep. I think we found the aorta. Well, unfortunately, not going to be quite the best day here for the doctor. Now put on sabbatical for a little bit longer, but hopefully we can find some answers. If you're asking me, the problem is we're just not optimizing our engagements enough. As Dr. Mario, you have really solid combo potential with those up airs. You kind of got to see that be put to good use because you're so infrequently able to have the ball in your hands that when you do, it's like you're like a role player on a basketball team. You recognize that you're not going to have the ball too much, but when you do, you have to make it count, right? Otherwise, you're being put on the bench. And if you have the ball, you have advantage state, and you're not getting more than like 10% off of every interaction, whereas a Sephiroth gets like 50, you're just not able to execute on what the character wants to do.
Indeed. Now that you have them back in, no swaps again. These players are confident in their selections.
Yes, they are, but is that faith misplaced? We'll find out shortly. Final destination for potentially the final match. Ferndale. No stakes, but at the very least, the stake of pride. Can you try to get just one measly game off Nooksack? Let's see what they can do.
Yeah. I mean, right now you're seeing them juggle against one another. Or not juggle, just sidestep each other. Kind of going up and over.
Oh, the recovery of Dr. Mario famously poor, and that's why you see him sink down to the blast zone. Only 40% built up here by the Sephiroth, and it might just be a repeat of what we saw last game, Sami. Hopefully things change.
Yeah, not as... You don't really have the platform... Oh! Oh!
You deserve that. Trying to use the Gates of Hell off stage was absolutely crazy, but it would have certainly been pretty. Once again, Nooksack, man. They got all sorts of bags of tricks in that Nooksack. They're going elbow deep in there. It's crazy. Mega Flare charged up, but the pill's interrupted. But what do you do when they are in disadvantage? Again, just only 10% built up, and that Flare is such a scary option here. Sephiroth trying to condition this Dr. Mario to be afraid.
Yeah, no, definitely. Oh, ho, ho!
Yep.
That
Giga
is-
Flare will certainly do it. Ow.
That is such a cheat ability. I don't care what you say.
I mean, you just got to be able to play around it. Dr. Mario, in theory, could have just let go of ledge, re-grabbed, and then been fine. But instead, they decided to stick around a bit too long, having faith that their ledge invincibility would carry them through. It didn't. That was the answer. The Blade Dash and a great Octo Slash, but a good roll. Solid timing there from the Doc to keep himself safe so far. But you've got to approach. You cannot be the one running away. You do not have the projectile advantage as Doc Mario.
No, you do not here. Now that you finally are close, you can see he's a bit afraid. He's trying to anticipate a big move coming out from Sephiroth here, yet he keeps dodging it back. Finally does get a big hit off, but I don't think you're going to get anything much here, especially if you go for an edge guard.
Isn't even that good. You give him the one-wing angel. It gives Sephiroth one more jump and doesn't even need it. Instead, we could have maybe loaded that wing to Mario so they could recover back to stage. Nooksack take the exhibition match in a clean sweep.
Goodness gracious. That was, yeah, no. We did see a lot more action coming towards these last 3 matchups here, I would dare say. But, whew, it was a show. It was
an efficient one. A massacre,
very.
if I do say so myself. I mean, they said get in the sack, get in the body bag. What you doing? 5 players now
Get in
in
the sack.
pillowcases shipped home. But again, the commendations have to be given to our friends on Ferndale for giving their best. You know, I'm not quite sure if that's their mainstay roster. I'm not sure if those are the bench players, but either way, they tried. No one gave up. No one took any SDs off stage and said, listen, it's an uphill battle. Sometimes you got to take your licks, and that's how you learn. Good on them.
Indeed it is. Well, I believe that's just about going to wrap it up for us here, D'Lo, wouldn't you say?
Indeed I would, but before we do go, we gotta say a few more special thanks for our friends on LandFest. This broadcast, after all, is part of LandFest's Scholastic Esports program, a Scholastic program that supports this league and many others. Since launching, LandFest has delivered over 300 broadcasts to Scholastic leagues in Washington and Indiana. We provide these broadcasts free of charge to the leagues, schools, and teams we cover, but it's your generous donations that make this possible. Every $200 raised covers the operating cost for one regular season broadcast. If you appreciate our work, scan that QR code on the screen and donate today. Open your hearts and maybe, just maybe, open your pocketbooks too.
That indeed. Well, like I said, that's going to wrap it up here between the both of us. But do be sure to tune in next time on Tuesday, the 14th, where we'll have Splatoon here, which is going to be exciting to see.
Always is. Plenty of games going on here with SEA, IEN as well. LandFest has got plenty coming at you. So if you want some more gaming Scholastic action, check on in for it. Till then, though, I've been D'Lo. Joined here by Saminami in the booth. We've had our almighty eyes in the sky, Taylor, MoBugman/Taylor, or rather, Console Connie as well. Please thank our production for all they do. We could not yell at games without them. And last, but certainly not least, thank you, loyal, obedient viewer, for your time. You have enjoyed this series just as much as we have. Keep an eye to the sky for more LandFest. We'll see action coming at you in the future. Until then, good games and good night.